So you turned your family house into a backroom business, and that's a great move. But now your whole family has moved on, emotionally, physically, financially. So the real question here is, what's next? So I want to start off by saying that, well done. You didn't wait for a mentor at the time, or to be in the trust fund scenario, and you just used what you had. And probably this was your parents' home, and probably this was your first investment that you could afford at that particular time with the monies that you had, and you have just made it earn some good money to you. And that, to me, that's like what we call here the TJ tribe, the faith move. You used what you had, which is amazing. So the first back room, it gave you a cash flow, and maybe it even helped you to pay maybe your kids' education, groceries, or whatever the case is. And you have tasted what real estate looks like, and that's a good start. But I'm of the view it's not a wealth plan. So how can we create a wealth plan? And today, my good friends, this is where we are going to be talking about and why it is time for you to level up, right? From the back rooms to the next level. What is the next level? If we are meeting for the first time, my name is TJ, your host, and I'm a former banker and founder here at the TJ Tribe. And I do business with a focus in student accommodation, flips, which is buy and sell, and coaching, with the hope that all of us, as young, upcoming modern parents, we can be able to have passive income from real estate. Welcome to the channel. In my view of what is the next level, I want to state out categorically two things. And the reality is that if we're to look at it nicely, the first thing is that your context has changed, right? So number one, you do not live in the township anymore, where this property is. You've moved on. And the reality is that you can't manage tenants remotely with airtime and just hoping that things are going to come right. And you can't also going back to this neighborhood all the time, because now you're driving your Vrupa or your 4x4, you get there, everybody thinks you've got money. So you want to limit the contact, but you're also scared that if you limit the contact, then they're not going to pay. The reality is that you got a new life, whether it is in the north or wherever it is. Maybe it's one in these big cities, in a complex you are living in, with your kids now in a private school. And this, my good friends, I see it a lot, and it doesn't actually match the admin burden of running a township backroom stand. It's a reality, right? So your context has changed. The next one is that the property may be working, but not growing, right? The property itself may be working, but it's not growing compared to what you're seeing around, right? So let's dissect that. What do we mean by that? Is the rent increasing year on year? That's a question. The next question is that, is your equity growing year on year? Another question is the area appreciating year on year? And then the last question is, are you structured as a business? And if your answer was potentially no to most, you have hit a ceiling. That's just the reality of it. So how can we help you out? This is Monday 10 minutes of learning, and we're going to see how best we can be able to help you. What's the next? The next, in my view, the next needs to drive with purpose. The next needs to drive with purpose. So we need to think about this carefully, because I'm also sensitive for many people, because potentially this house that you've turned out into like backroom business, it was potentially a house that you grew up in. So it's got many sentimental value into it. But the first one that I want to say, I'm going to give you like steps, right? So step number one is decide to either cash out, rebuild, or repurpose. Decide whether you want to cash out, rebuild, or repurpose. So either sell the property and reinvest, let's say, in a bigger property, a block of flats somewhere. So maybe the property is worth like R1 million, R2 million, whatever the case is. And you can then take the money and plow it somewhere else, a block of flat, a student accommodation, or even into a new build altogether, right? Or you can renovate the property to either a solid multi-let, something that is obviously zoned correctly, where you can increase the value and manage it formally. It's a possibility. Or you can repurpose it into a family legacy house. So you can either maybe off late, right? Along student accommodation, I'm seeing retirement houses coming in, right? You can either do that as well, or you can just maybe consider something biggish for a future development. Because remember, you own this cash now. Hopefully that the structures of the ownership is great. This is a playlist that we've been doing for Backrooms. This was a video, a series of video that we started doing after the guy called Tabo, who's one of our clients, reached out to us and said, TJ, I've been left with this number of properties with my parents, so how can we work around it? And then there was follow-up questions with other people, and basically we then created a playlist. So this is the last video of that playlist, but we will also entertain other questions in future, particularly around backrooms. If you've got any questions around backrooms, and here, this is the family meeting, we'll discuss them. Hopefully in the next 10 minutes of learning here, we will give you what it is. Next step. The next step for me is very important. I almost wanted to start this one to say this was step number 1, but I thought it doesn't matter. It's step number 2. Separate your emotions from the execution. This is going to be very difficult because, like I did say earlier on, it might be a property that you actually grew up in. I want to state to you, my good friends, but that you are not disowning your parents by moving forward. You are actually protecting the gift that they left you. Can I say that again? Is that good? You are not disowning your parents by moving forward, be it selling, okay? You are actually protecting the gift that they have left you. It's pointless to keep value logged in a particular asset and it's depreciating, and you're saying that it's sentimental to my parents and things like that, or my grandparents. Whereas you could take that seed and you could plow it somewhere else where it can flourish, and your kids' kids can be able to see that and say that was granny's money or whatever money that they were able, instead of going back to a township that is dilapidated. It's just a different thinking, but I'm not saying that that's bad or good. It's just a different thinking. Step number 3, what I would do, I would structure the next play in a different way. This way, I'm always saying this. Number 1, I'll register a company, overseen with the trust, making sure that the same problems that I had getting the properties from my father's sisters to me or to us as family members, we're going to have the same problem, so that my siblings and our kids, they can also have the benefit of having all of this seamlessly, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is that we'll start to managing it like a business. The third thing is that the properties themselves will get in a proper managing agent. If you're looking out for a property agent to manage your assets wherever you are, let us know. Our partners, or should I say our partners here at the TJ Tribe, we have intentionally partnered up with these guys that are called Productive Realty, and they can be able to manage your properties and report to you nicely. Whilst we're still talking about structuring, the last thing there is use the cash flow. Use the cash flow, the money that you're getting from the property, to build a second intentional property business. Right. For some of you who've been journeying with us in the coachings and so on, you know we've been hammering on the word intentionality. It was our theme last year. This year is build intentionally. So that's our theme this year. So again, I bring this statement here, which say, with the cash flow that's coming in, don't just, flex around with it, but invest now intentionally. All right. I was speaking to my good friend Luke, and Luke was saying to me, TJ, the Lord said to us we should occupy until I come. Right? That's what the Lord said. And I want to say here, God gave you dominion right now, not just a dwelling. So let me unpack that a little bit. You don't have to romanticize the past to honor it. It's not that. We can move ahead with dignity, with intentionality, and build something bigger. So your next step might look very different, and that's okay. And you are more than, right now, today, you are more than a landlord. You're a builder of I want to call it the next generation, or a generational strategy. You are that builder because you have been given the seed. So you are good to start, or should I say you've already started, or you started strong, or your father started, or wherever you are. But now, here is the kicker. You have to now finish strong. So how are you going to finish strong if you're just maintaining what is there? It's not finishing strong, right? I'm just wanting to challenge you there to think differently, think bigger. If your parents or whoever it is who have left you this, how can we build intentionally bigger, better, until we see each other, my good friends, on the next video? It is I, your boy, TJ. Let's have the conversation. It's just a conversation.